Hello, everyone, and welcome to City Beat. I'm your host, Nancy Byrne, and we are coming to you from the Las Vegas City Council chambers. September 11th, 2001 is a dark day in our country's history in which everyone can tell you where they were and what they were doing when two jets hit the World Trade Center towers in New York, another jet hit the Pentagon, and yet another one in now hallowed ground in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. It's hard to believe it's been 20 years. Every year, Las Vegas Fire and Rescue holds a very special ceremony. This year's ceremony was captured by photographer-editor Eric Sorensen.
Forward. March.
All stations, all units. The tolling of the bell is in remembrance for all those that lost their lives on September 11th, 2001, and the 343 firefighters of FDNY on this 20th anniversary.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All stations, all units, return back to your assigned channels to end the tribute.
Just in case you're new to the area, that Fire Station 5 is where you'll find a twisted piece of metal left over from the World Trade Center that was donated to the city. And it's also where a flag that was donated to the city from New York City Fire Department flies over our fire station during that ceremony. It once flew over Ground Zero. Now it is also the site where a very special tree is planted. It was spawned from a tree called the Survivor Tree. It was found in the rubble around Ground Zero right after the attacks, brought back to life, and now every year saplings from that tree are donated to cities who have suffered their own losses. 2 saplings were given to the city of Las Vegas. One is planted at Fire Station 5 and another at Police Memorial Park in memory of those we lost in 1 October. Las Vegas Fire and Rescue Station 5 has become the place where we gather each year on 9/11 to fulfill our promise to never forget the attacks on our country. So it was only fitting a tree donated by New York City finds a home here as well.
The significance is that this tree that we're going to plant today comes from the 9/11 tragedy. And it's the symbolism is to unite us and to hopefully heal us together.
Maggie Allred said she just had to be here to watch as this tree was planted. You see, she has family connections to the company that is responsible for bringing back to life the tree now known as the Survivor Tree, a tree barely clinging to life in the rubble surrounding the World Trade Center after the attacks of 9/11.
They gave it to arborists, Bartlett tree experts in Stamford, Connecticut, to nurture and see if they could bring that back to life, which they did. And they worked in conjunction with a school in New York City that specialized in agriculture and arborism. And so they've brought the tree back to life. They have many, many saplings in their lab in North Carolina.
Each year, some of those saplings are donated to communities across the world that have suffered their own tragedies, such as Sandy Hook Elementary School following the mass shooting in December of 2012, and New Orleans following the devastation of Hurricane Katrina in August of 2005.
And so when we had our shooting on 1 October, I reached out to Bartlett tree experts and asked if they would put us on their list. Unfortunately, there is a list these days of tragedies around the world.
The two saplings came to Las Vegas measuring only about a foot in height and under the watchful eyes of Bradley Dossler and Stephen Glimp in our Parks and Grounds Maintenance Division here at the City of Las Vegas. This is how it looks today.
Hi, Maggie.
How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you,
Maggie.
Steve. We've talked a lot on the phone.
Nice to meet you.
through
No, it's grown so much. It's
Oh.
done really well. So
Good
we're
job
excited.
taking care of it.
Yeah.
Bradley says this Callery pear tree is not really indigenous to our dry, hot weather, but he and Stephen and others at the city nursery have gone to great lengths to make sure it and the other donated sapling thrived.
It's a relief. We're excited to have it in the ground and for the community to be able to enjoy it. So, yeah, like you said, we've been watching over it for 2 years, but it's good to have it in its final home.
For those here on this day watching it go into the ground, it was actually emotional, knowing from where it came and what it represents.
It's a big deal. I mean, we plant a lot of trees for the city, but this one has a lot of unique significance, and yeah, it is. It's a meaningful event.
Sadly, we're united in a tragedy, but nevertheless, we're connected. We're connected with other human beings that are sharing that experience. And the trees that are now planted at the World Trade Center are from the sapling. So life goes on.
The second tree donated to Las Vegas was planted at Police Memorial Park and was part of an annual ceremony held on September 11th by the Las Vegas 1013 Club. The club is comprised of retired New York City police officers. 1013 stands for the call that goes out to first responders when a fellow officer is in need of emergency assistance. Before gathering at the tree, the colors were posted by Cub Scout Pack 149, the national anthem was sung, and the familiar and somber sounds of the bagpipes drifted through the air. Mayor Carolyn Goodman was among the many city leaders attending the ceremony.
Ghastly visions never to be forgotten, of loss so enormous as to be truly incredulous, of the totality of innocent people caught in moments frozen for us, no ability to escape, leaving us in the world in shock and devastated.
Mayor Pro Tem Stavros Anthony, a retired officer with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, represents Ward 4, where the Police Memorial Park is located.
This is fitting that we have this event at Police Memorial Park to remember the men and women in uniform 20 years ago who risked their lives and died in the line of duty during a terrorist attack.
The ceremony ended with the release of blue and gold balloons, and then those in attendance gathered around the survivor tree to throw the final dirt on this symbol of resiliency and strength.
These trees will help us never forget all those police officers and firefighters and fellow countrymen we lost on that terrible day.
It's hard to believe these saplings were like this tall when they were given to the city of Las Vegas, but as you can see, they were nurtured and they are absolutely beautiful now and will continue to be well taken care of. Well, on the topic of Las Vegas Fire and Rescue, on August 28th, Nevada Task Force 1 was deployed to Louisiana to help those who are suffering in the path of Hurricane Ida. Now, Nevada Task Force 1 is made up of members of all of the local fire departments, but it's not the only crew that was deployed. Another crew was recently deployed as well. 2 water tender rigs, each manned with 2 personnel from Las Vegas Fire and Rescue and Clark County Fire Department, wasted little time answering a call for assistance from the front lines of the Caldor fire. The blaze was continuing to spread from California to the Nevada state line near Lake Tahoe, rapidly, devouring hundreds of thousands of acres.
It has progressively gotten worse each day.
Las Vegas Fire and Rescue Deputy Chief Dina D'Alessio sent the crews off with a thanks and a reminder to be careful.
Obviously, this has taken a lot of time away from your family and your friends to be able to go and assist up in northern Nevada. It's very, very much appreciated, and I'm sure that Chief Padu said all those things to you guys as well. These crews will join firefighters that have already been deployed to the wildfire from North Las Vegas and Pahrump. They will stay on the scene a maximum of 2 weeks. I'm extremely proud of all the agencies. I'm extremely proud of Las Vegas Fire and Rescue, of our personnel, that we do have the resources to send up there and to help Lake Tahoe area and everyone in northern Nevada.
Once the crews from northern Nevada and Louisiana get back here and get settled in, we'll catch up with them to hear about their experiences. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it's hard to believe it's been more than 18 months since COVID-19 hit our world. We'll hear some personal stories of how the virus affected individual lives. Congratulations to the City of Las Vegas Employee of the Month, Chris Osiadlo. Chris is a technical systems analyst with the city's IT department. When the new municipal court building opened earlier this year, Chris worked tirelessly to coordinate the information technology needs for all who work in the courthouse. During the weekend move from the Regional Justice Center to the new building, Chris worked to ensure all of the computers and phones for the court and city attorney's office were set up and operating properly. As you can imagine, that was no small task. Because of his attention to detail, there was a smooth transition, enabling the courthouse to reopen to the public without missing a beat. For Chris's outstanding customer service to the city and, in turn, better service for our residents and businesses, we tip our hats to Chris Osiadlo, the City of Las Vegas Employee of the Month. Welcome back to City Beat from the Las Vegas City Council chambers. Well, did any of us ever think that 18 months after COVID-19 was diagnosed, we would still be talking about it? We've heard so many stories for the past year and a half from people all over the country, so we thought we would reach out to some of our co-workers here at the City of Las Vegas to find out how the virus affected them and their families. We heard from a lot of people, but only a few wished to go on camera and talk about their experiences. Talk about how they got it, where they've been, their hopes for the future, and why they find this virus so frustrating. It was March of 2020 when it seemed suddenly this new virus, COVID-19, shut us down. The "can't keep us down" mantra following the Great Recession was silenced as we faced a new enemy. And as we trudged our way through it, many of us saw hope in a vaccine, believing once we have that, we can kick this pandemic's rear and put it in our rearview mirrors. But hesitancy among nearly half the nation was not something that was expected. Here are just a few stories from City of Las Vegas employees we spoke with.
And I was really kind of offended that they suggested that I had the test because I just knew I had a sinus infection. So when I came back positive, it was like, oh man, I immediately panicked because my parents are older. My dad at the time was 87, my mom was 79, and I thought, have I infected them unknowingly? My daughters were infected. They're 16 and 12. And so then it became scary for them too, because everything that I had seen on the news talked about going on a ventilator and being in the hospital and not being able to breathe. Fortunately for us, it was a mild case and we never had to go into the hospital. We just isolated at home. I was one of the folks who was like, when this vaccination comes out, I'm not going to do it, but it became much more of a necessity because I wanted to protect myself and my family. Talking about parents again, being 87 and 79, I wanted to make certain we do everything possible to keep them safe. Mm-hmm. So it just became a no-brainer for us to get vaccinated.
I got it in between doses of vaccine. So I wasn't really all that sick. Of course, I did have to stay home. But it's what happened before and after and around when I had COVID. Because like I said, I wasn't really all that sick, but I ended up giving it to, that I know of, 4 different people. One of them was my daughter, who had had it 6 months before, which was interesting to me because a lot of, people think, well, I already had it, so I have natural immunity. But honestly, the natural immunity doesn't last that long. And before I really started getting sick, I ended up giving it to a coworker who spent 10 days with pneumonia in the hospital. And when you're in the hospital with COVID, you can't really have visitors. So you feel terrible and you don't have the comfort of your family. And then I also gave it to another person that I know, on a social basis, and that person ended up in the hospital twice. I'm glad I got vaccinated, and I would encourage everyone to get vaccinated because it makes you feel yucky for a day, but it doesn't hurt you. It's not going to hurt anything, and even if you don't think it works, it's not. It could, and it could save some lives. I got the vaccine as soon as I could, and really, honestly, most of it was for selfish reasons because I wanted to go out. I wanted to do things. I wanted to travel. Another reason for doing it, and a big reason, is what if I get hit by a bus and I have to go to the hospital and the resources aren't there to take care of me because the hospital is full of people with COVID that didn't get vaccinated, even though they had the opportunity to.
So in the time of me just leaving work and driving home, it was like a ton of bricks fell on me. I was driving and I felt like I couldn't even keep my eyes open. I was just so tired. Laid down, this was at 7 at night. Ended up waking up 3 in the morning, drenched in sweat, shivering uncontrollably. My body hurt, I was coughing, and I was shivering like crazy. And then I realized I had a fever. I only knew because I had a friend who told me she tested positive and that I should go get tested. I went that next day, got tested, got my test results back another 4 days, and it said I was positive. And this time around, I literally only had a runny nose, and I was just a little tired, but that's it. And to me, I always say I felt like it was because I got the vaccine that it wasn't as hard the second time around as it was the first time around.
All 3 of these women said they understand the point that it's a personal choice, but for them, it's a personal choice that has the ramifications of reaching outside their personal space.
And I talk to everybody about it. I mean, it is a personal choice, but I think it's necessary for us to get back to what we consider normal, if there is going to be a normal, because this might be our new normal, but do everything that you can to protect yourself and those that you love.
I got the vaccine. I said, you know what, I did my due diligence, I did my own research, I looked at things because I was a little apprehensive about the vaccine, but I knew, just because I don't usually take a flu shot and stuff like that. So that's why I was apprehensive. But I said, I never want to feel that way again. Because it was an emotional roller coaster too. Because like I said, you would think you're okay, and then nope, the next day you have the fever again, you have everything again. So it was so up and down.
It's a little frustrating for me, but all I can do is just make sure that I get vaccinated and do things like this and see maybe somebody will listen.
Just for full disclosure, we didn't put out a call asking people why they chose to get the vaccine. We put out a call just asking people their general experience with the virus. These were the people that chose to go on camera. Well, staying on this medical note, August 31st is Drug Overdose Awareness Day. It's a day to take the stigma away from drug overdose, but also to remember people who have died or suffered severe injuries because of drug overdose. At a press conference at Las Vegas Fire and Rescue, we learned that our firefighters respond to thousands thousands of calls a year, and it's not getting any better. But there are some rays of hope. In 2020, Las Vegas Fire and Rescue responded to 5,000 calls for drug overdose, and this year the numbers are expected to go even higher.
Las Vegas Fire and Rescue, as just one agency, we have private ambulance partners too, as just one agency serving one part of the Las Vegas Valley. We administered Narcan to almost 800 patients, and it's not even September yet. Last year's numbers are high. This year's numbers are going to blow last year out of the water.
Scott Phillips has been a paramedic for close to 20 years and has never seen a drug crisis rise to these levels. But he says in recent years, the use of Narcan has saved countless lives.
If we get there in time, and I get this in you, you might start breathing again. In calendar year 2020, Las Vegas Fire and Rescue administered Narcan to 1,044 patients. We had 5,000 responses for overdoses. 1 out of 5 of those we gave Narcan. And we did get there in time.
Aside from the use of Narcan by emergency workers, kits that can be used by family members and friends have been made available. But all the first responders here say that is only the short-term life-saving tool. They say treatment and stigma need to change. Tim Velasquez is a paramedic with the department, and along with his experience in the field, he watched his brother, now recovered, struggle with addiction.
My brother has a little bit of a happier ending. He's recovered. He's happily married. He has a couple of kids. These things are more or less behind him, but it is a battle that these folks fight for the rest of their lives, however long or short they may be. Until we understand or realize that this is a long-term disease and it deserves the same long-term therapies that we treat congestive heart failure, COPD, asthma, hypertension, diabetes, as Scott put it before, it is real and we will not win.
Removing the stigma of drug-related deaths, Narcan to give those addicted another chance at life so they might seek help, and then long-term treatment they need to truly recover. Those steps are what these emergency responders say are the only hope of reversing the numbers and help our country get out of what appears to be a tailspin into an epidemic.
It is no surprise that when you consider the stress of a global pandemic, the increase in unemployment, the political division, and natural disasters, it is understandable that we are facing a mental health crisis.
Nevada 211 is a great resource for anyone suffering from addiction or maybe has a family member or loved one who would like some help. You can visit nevada211.org for more information. We are going to take another quick break, and when we come back, if you think you know donuts and if you think you know ice cream, well, you don't until you visit this new business in our next Open for Business segment.
You made your house a reality. Homeschooling yourself on loans, color-coding listings, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. If you can ace house hunting, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org.
This is what stress feels like. And this is what help feels like. If you've lost a job, worry about your next meal, or have trouble making it through the day, we can help. Text STRESS to 211-211 to find a solution.
Welcome back to City Beat from the Las Vegas City Council chambers. So who doesn't love a freshly baked donut? And who doesn't love ice cream? Well, how about if you combine the two? Sue Levitt takes us to a place where you can stop by and visit and enjoy ice cream and donuts together and blow an entire week's worth of calories in one visit. Here is Sue Levitt with this segment of Open for Business.
Hi everyone, I'm Sue Levitt, checking out a new business that's dishing up some sweetness here in the Northwest. And if you like donuts and you like ice cream, you're gonna love Yonuts. Yonuts has arrived in Las Vegas, serving up over-the-top donut and ice cream creations.
It's gonna blow up, but it's a different, it's a vibe, it's an experience. It's more, we have our donuts, and we have our mini cake donuts and our ice cream, amazing shakes, all right? We blend donuts, cookies, and Twinkies in even, so it's gonna be an amazing thing.
Brock Howard is one of the owners of Yonuts, the first of its kind in Las Vegas. Only open for just over a month and already drawing quite a bit of attention from residents in the area.
Everybody visit Yonuts, I guess. This is a spot to be and the donuts to eat.
Yonuts serves both donuts and ice cream. The donuts come in a variety of tantalizing designs and flavors, some topped with Oreo cookies, pink pebbles, or Captain Crunch cereal. And there's also just simple glazed. There's these mini donuts that are pretty cute. Those more daring can choose from ice cream flavors like cotton candy or peanut butter and chocolate. And there's also the more traditional flavors.
They have more toppings than other donut places, and you can pick the donuts, and you can have the donuts be smashed.
You can smash your donuts or smash your ice cream. Yonuts takes it to a whole new limit by taking toppings and donuts and smashing them right into your ice cream or milkshake.
We're gonna put some cotton candy bits and some cotton candy cereal.
Toppings mixed right in with your favorite ice cream, in this case, cotton candy, and then topped off with a miniature or full-size donut.
There she is.
Cutest thing. A crazy process that creates the most outrageous milkshake. And for those that choose to have their donuts smashed,
we're gonna slice the donut right here.
Smashed donuts start with slicing the donut in half, in this case, putting a scoop of peanut butter and chocolate ice cream inside, hot press it, and drizzle with chocolate and peanut butter. Then add the toppings.
And we always put on some kind of topping that's a little different on every single recipe.
So, just like the sign on the wall reads, slice it, fill it, smash it, top it, and of course, the best part, eat it.
My favorite part of it is the warm outside, though, but the ice cream on the inside keep you nice.
Antavius Long lives in the area and is a regular here at Yonuts.
Every time I leave the gym, I'm here. I'm proudly telling on myself to my coach, but I don't stop and get any drinks or anything on the way home. I get me a donut and it lasts me all the way. I had to eat it before I get there, though, because if I don't, people be asking why I didn't bring them any.
Yonuts originated in Florida with one location there. So this Yonuts store here at 5765 Centennial Center Boulevard is only the second to open, and several more Las Vegas locations are in the works.
It's an experience, you can get donuts and ice cream anywhere, and so we're trying to make it a family place, but Fridays and Saturday nights we turn up the music a little bit and it was bumping, so it's fun, it's hopping.
When we look at the kind of decor, we kind of look at the work ethic, the energy, the attitude, the music, the atmosphere is good, it's light and it's fun, and so we'll definitely be bringing this back to our daughter and coming back again.
Michael saw the new store and stopped in to see what Yonuts is all about. This is his first time trying out a smashed donut. What do you think?
I think that on a hot sunny day in Vegas, this is a perfect combination in deliciousness.
It's like a total different kind of dessert, right?
Yeah, me and my wife were eating this in the car. She loves the cookies, I love the Oreos, and this is just amazing.
Perfect for both of you, right?
Yes, it's enough for two.
So it sounds like you're definitely going to be back.
Of course, we'll definitely be back.
You're not going to be disappointed. It's an amazing experience between the ice cream. Who thought ice cream? It's like an ice cream sandwich, but the donut itself, you think ice cream would be melted, but it's actually really good. And then you're going to love it.
And I'm about to find out just how much I'll love the cotton candy milkshake Brock was smashing up for us earlier.
All right, Sue. Here's your smashed donut and your smashed shake.
Okay, wow, this is a lot, right? Oh my gosh, look at this. So if you come to Yonuts, definitely plan on sharing. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. That was delicious.
Find out what's going on all over the city of Las Vegas by subscribing to the City Beat e-newsletter. Simply scan this QR code to get a preview of each show twice a month.